Welcome, Gyronauts, to the MVP podcast, and I am here with Amanda Melwiki, doing a interview just to get some one-on-one time with her, so we can understand what she is more like and bring her down to our level, the amateur level, if you will. So Amanda, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm pretty excited about this. I don't actually think I've done an interview before, like a video one at all anyway. My name's Amanda, obviously, PDGA 76988. I have been playing since the spring of 2015, and I got an MVP, I believe, the spring of 2017. So that's kind of like my disc golf related, but I'm from Mattawan, Michigan. I live with my fiance and my dog and my 2 cats, and yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I have some stats down here written down that, like you already said, you're from Mattawan, Michigan. You've been a PDGA member since 2015. You currently have a rating of 909, which to me is outstanding. Let me just put that out there. I'm
pretty excited about that.
that's phenomenal. You have a total of 18 career wins, which is, I wish I had one. Let me put that out.
It's a little easier as a woman, I will say that. Less smaller fields.
Yes, I've noticed watching Alicia Trausch and her tournaments that she ends up only getting like 3 or 4 women in any one of her divisions at any time.
Yeah.
I see that you have signed up for the Great Lakes Open, which is fantastic. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
That's in Michigan, so it's a local tournament for me. It's about 2 hours away. I'm pretty excited about it. That course is insane. I don't know if you've ever watched coverage for that, but the toboggan course is, you're up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill. I think that our rounds last year were like 5 hours long in the dead of summer heat. It was rough, but it's an amazing course. It's so fun. I'm a little worried about it this year just because I don't know if it's actually going to happen with the PDGA nixing so many tournaments. The Pro Tour hasn't said anything about the events for July and going forward. So hopefully that one's going to still be on, but that's kind of the only big event that I do have planned this year. So I'm really hoping they don't cancel that one. It's a really cool event. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. And then also I see that you have and I don't know the background behind this one, so maybe you can give us a little bit more insight, but the 2020 PDGA World Championships are coming in June? ?
I wish you said Worlds, right?
Yes.
I wish. It's in Utah this year, which is pretty far away. And if traveling wasn't such an issue for that, I would definitely try to go to it. But I tend to kind of stay more towards the east side, Midwest of the states. That was just a little too far for me. Hopefully in the coming years I'll be able to go to it. I don't really know where it is next year, but it would be really cool if it was somewhere a little closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to give you guys a little bit of context too, we are recording this on May 11th, so we are still in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis and PDGA shutting down tournaments all the way until the end of May. So some of the comments that we might make are in reference to that and not being able to get out to tournaments or possibly having tournaments canceled and stuff like that, in case you guys were unaware. And then I also have written on here that your most recent tournament was the Lumberjack Open. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is a tournament I've done, I think, for the past 3 years, I want to say. It's a local one. It's literally, I think, 7 minutes from my house. It's my local home course. And yeah, that was a great event. That was my starting event of the year. That was supposed to kind of kick off my season into going into all these events for the year. So that one happened. And then I think a few days later is when I was quarantined from work and kind of stuck at home, and then everything happened. So that tournament went really well. I had a rocky start to my first round, but then I ended up getting 6 birdies in a row, and I just kind of lit up from there. And Christine Jennings, who's an amazing player from Ohio, her and I bailed it out all day long, and ended up going into a tiebreaker that I ended up winning. So it was a fun tournament. I had good ratings for the whole day. That's part of the reason my rating went up to 909 now. So yeah, that was a fun day. It makes me like talking about it makes me miss competing. I cannot wait to get back out to tournaments and play with my friends again.
I hear that. Now, I noticed that you were 7 over par. Is that normal through 3 rounds there, or is that better than what you normally do, worse than?
I think that's pretty good. That was for 2 rounds. So we played from the shorts it's Ashtamole Park, and the shorts usually I can shoot under par for the shorts, and then the longs there are extremely challenging. So anything I would say within 7 strokes is pretty good for the longs out there. So I was pretty happy with my scores.
Awesome. I see RoboKitty there in the background.
Yeah, that's Peach.
Actually, while we're on that topic and we're talking about your animals, I'm going to jump down. I know, in case you guys are wondering, I did send Amanda a list of the questions I was going to ask her so that she's not caught off guard by any of these things. But one of the questions that I had, it kind of in reference to your stamps and specifically your signature ones, the RoboKitty 2.0, and your brand new one, Charlie.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a little bit of explanation of how you came up with those, what the process was to getting those made, or anything like that?
Yeah. So the first year for RoboKitty, MVP had told us, we can start doing our tour series stamps, do what we can do so we can get help with funding our tour tournaments, whatever we need. I had kind of thought for a while what I want to do. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for a stamp. And I knew that it had to do something with animals because I love animals. They're a big part of my life. So I kind of was playing around with a couple ideas, and then I was listening to dubstep, and there's a song called RoboKitty, and I just kind of was like, oh my God, that's what I need to do. I need to figure out something with that. So I messaged Mike in Chico, and he immediately came up with some amazing ideas. I just said, I want to do RoboKitty. What can you do? And he came up with the first original RoboKitty, and it turned out amazing, and we kind of went from there. And then last year's kind of the same thing. I think I just told him, I said, I want to kind of bring RoboKitty to life a little bit. What can you do? He again just killed it, made something amazing again. And then this year's stamp with Charlie, I not necessarily wanted to take a break from RoboKitty, but I really wanted to make something with her because she is my best friend. She's my world. She's my everything. So I knew I needed her on a stamp. And he just amazing. Again, I can't believe that. Honestly, I love RoboKitty, especially the original RoboKitty that holds like a really special place in my heart. But this stamp I think might be my favorite one this year. It's amazing. And then the triple foil too really helps. It looks great this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward with some of the questions. So before you became a professional disc golfer, before 2015, what was it that you did? And also I heard that you mentioned that you still have a job right now?
Yeah. I still work Monday through Friday, just a regular job. I didn't really do much before starting disc golfing. My fiance and I had a lot of hobbies. So we like to fish, we like to longboard. Those were kind of like our main stuff that we would do all the time is fishing and longboarding. And then once we started disc golfing, we kind of, longboarding kind of stopped, but fishing kind of continued. So longboarding really kind of took over my life though, starting in 2015. I just fell in love with it so fast, and then just realizing that it was something that I could compete in, and I have a competitive spirit. So I was like, this is what I need to do. So I really started focusing on that. But yeah, I didn't really have any set competitive hobby or anything that I did until disc golf.
Gotcha. So what is it that you do for, you said you have a Monday to Friday job. What is it that you do for your Monday through Friday job?
So I'm a billing specialist for a local hospital group. I don't like specifically do billing, I fix billing. So I'm the one that's fighting with the insurance companies, making sure that all your bills are getting paid. Specifically, I work for women's health, mental health, and neonatal. So those are the ones that I do, make sure I get paid every month. And yeah, I like it. It's nice because right now I can work remotely. I don't have to be at the office. So I've been home since this whole COVID thing happened, and not having to go to the office has been nice.
Absolutely. And it's great to hear that you are both a hero on the disc golf course as well as in our hearts fighting for our medical bills and saving us money. So
right, yeah.
Great thing to
making sure our doctors get paid.
exactly. So next question is, how long do you actually see yourself continuing on this sport? I know you look really young. I'm not going to throw out an age there because obviously that's taboo. But how long can you see yourself going forward with either through MVP or through disc golf in general or anything like that?
I really see myself doing this like the rest of my life. I mean, you see a lot of the Masters players that are older in age and they're continuing to compete and do things, and that's what I want to do. I don't want age to ever slow me down in this sport, and I don't think it will. As long as I keep playing and staying active, I think I'll be able to play for a long time. I think there'll come a point where I'll slow down in tournaments and maybe not do as many. But as for now, I'm happy doing with the amount that I'm doing and traveling with the amount that I'm doing. And I think that I'm 31. I don't put my age out there very often, but I think that I'm not at an age really where I can not necessarily progress too much more. Um, but I'm at an age still where I'm young and I can continue to do this very actively. So I take advantage of that as much as I can right now. But I do want to, I hope I'm doing this in my 80s.
That's awesome. And you do have one role model on Team MVP, Miss Elaine King. She's been
Yeah,
going for
absolutely.
ages.
Yeah. I got to play with her at MVP Open last year, and that was really cool. I was having a rough round, and she gave me an amazing pep talk, and then after that, I was having a great round.
Awesome. Well, we'll get to that MVP Open
Yeah,
in a minute. So what is the furthest that you have ever actually traveled for a disc golf tournament?
that would be MVP Open, so that's in Massachusetts. From here, I flew the first time we went, but we drove last year, and it's about 14 hours, I think. So it's not anything crazy far, but that's the farthest.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm pretty exclusive to the Tampa, Florida area, and so far the furthest I've gone is an hour or so south to Punta Gorda area, and
Oh,
so
wow.
traveling 14 hours is for a disc golf tournament is
A lot.
for me crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but for you, I'm glad that you're able to do that.
yeah,
Um, so let's roll back again. Like you mentioned, MVP Open 2019. You were featured on a lead card with
yeah,
um, our very own Sarah Hokum, along with
yes.
a world-renowned Paige Pierce and Christina Drager, which I can honestly say I've never heard of her, mainly because I haven't been in the sport for as long as some other people have. But obviously, if she's on a lead card, she must be, good.
Yeah.
Um, what was it like to have coverage of your round?
That was an amazing experience. It really was. When Steve, our team manager, asked me if I wanted to do that, at first, my first response was absolutely not. No, I don't want that pressure. I don't want to deal with that. But then as I thought about it, I'm like, I need to just kind of rip the Band-Aid off and do it if I'm going to do it. I just need to get that experience and know what it's like. And I am so glad I did. It was such a thrilling, like, adrenaline rush to be a part of all that, playing with Paige, playing with Sarah. Like, it was just, I smile so big because I had such an amazing time with that. And it just made me want more. Like, it made me want to be more competitive. It made me want to be more um, out there in the tour. Like, it was amazing. And I occasionally like to go back and just watch that coverage just so I could relive it because it was just so fun.
Yeah, I can honestly say that I don't think I've actually sat down and watched it, but for those watching, I will leave the video in the description below, and that you guys can go back and watch it yourselves. I think it's produced by Gatekeeper, and there's another one by the Disc Golf Pro Tour as well that
Yeah.
I'll put in the description below. Um, on that same note, what was it like playing with Sarah and Paige and Christina?
It was very interesting. So Christina is actually, I believe she's an amateur player. She won the advanced Maple Hill on the advanced side for women. And so they get a spot to play with. So she was that was her first time on coverage too. So her and I were kind of like real nervous together, not really sure what to expect. Playing with Sarah Holcomb and Paige Pierce, we were kind of both just like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? We shouldn't be here. What is going on? But she held her own too. And it was amazing watching Paige. It really helped me too because she really thinks about her shots. Same with Sarah. They will take their full time that they need to really think about what they're going to throw, what line they're going to throw. And that just kind of showed me too that it's okay to take your time. Sometimes I feel rushed when I'm playing. that I'm taking too much time. Somebody's gonna get mad at me because of how much time I'm playing, and then I end up messing up my shot. So just watching them and learning from them was just an amazing experience all on its own, just kind of getting out there. It was a quiet card, not anybody's real chatty, but occasionally we did chat a little bit, and it was kind of, I was a little giddy a little bit.
I actually, back a while ago, I had played in billiards or pool professionally, and one of my really good friends who got me into it was his one of his biggest advices was, when you are at the table, that is your time. You take all the time that you need so that you can make the best shot possible. And it seems
Yeah.
like that's advice that goes all around in the sports arena.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Now, we mentioned, Paige Pierce and Sarah Hokum. Is there any specific disc golf athlete that you have met that you've been like starstruck by?
Honestly, I think Paige Pierce and Sarah were both kind of the people that I've watched the most, especially Paige, because she's the biggest women in the whole sport. So just kind of meeting her and talking to her was kind of my biggest starstruck moment. But like meeting Kristen Tatar and pretty much all the women. I'm a big fan of all the women in disc golf. That's kind of like whenever coverage comes out, I'm like, I'm waiting to watch the women first so I can watch them on the course, and then I'll watch the guys later. But so just pretty much meeting any of the women I really enjoy.
That's awesome. I remember the first time I met Alicia, and the only reason I keep mentioning her is because she's our local pro down here.
Okay, yeah.
I I walked up to her and I was like, "Do you throw MVP too?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's awesome." And we started talking and whatnot. And then she informed me that she was on Team MVP, and I was like,
Yeah.
she made me starstruck. So I also noticed that you do your own coverage of your own rounds, your solo rounds on YouTube, and I've watched one or two of them, specifically your Streamline round one. Why
Yeah.
don't you walk me through like how you set up for covering your own rounds, as well as maybe even any video editing if you do it yourself, or if you have someone else do it, or anything like that.
So what I do is my dad got me for Christmas, or no, for my birthday last year, just a nice videoing camera. I don't even know what it is. I think it's like an M3, Canon M3 or something. Um, I have a little mount on my cart that I use, and I just put my camera on my mount on my cart, and then as I'm going, I just hit record myself, and then yeah, I do all my editing, and I use just I don't even know, Premiere Pro, Adobe. I think that's what it's called. I use that, and I just edit it all and put it all together, and yeah, it takes a little bit putting all the shots together, but if you're pretty quick with the camera button, then you don't have to edit so much. So that's what I try to do. But usually for like my Instagram and stuff, I just have a phone mount and I just take all my videos with my phone. So hopefully I'm going to be doing more videos this year with my camera, but it's kind of hard because I'm not real familiar with how the camera works yet. So I'm still trying to figure out all my settings, and on sunny days, I can't figure out how to make it look good yet. So I'm working on it. I'll figure it out eventually.
Absolutely. So I'm going to roll into some of our fan questions. So I did ask some of you guys on Facebook through the MVP fan site, as well as through my page, some of the questions that you would like to hear me ask some professional disc golfers. And so we're going to roll into some of that. Some of these are disc golf related, and we're going to start with those. And some of these are a little bit more fun, beat non-disc golf related things. And I think you guys are going to get a kick out of that. So one of the first ones here is, what are any routines that you have before or after competing in a round or a tournament or anything like that?
So for rounds, I don't really have any kind of routine. I do try to stretch, but I usually forget. If I see my friend Erica, who's also on the team, if she's stretching, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably stretch with her. But other than that, I don't really do anything before or after rounds, anything particular. For tournaments, I I kind of do this thing the night before. I call it like pampering myself the night before a tournament. I always get like something really good to eat, paint my nails. I usually do my hair the night before, pick out my outfits, and then just kind of watch something really funny on TV just to kind of put myself in a good mood before I go to bed. That way I just kind of feel ready and refreshed for the morning. And then in the morning, I usually just kind of get myself out the door, get something to eat, some water. Once I'm there, my my main thing I do is putting. I like to throw a couple of drives, but nothing too crazy. I really spend most of my time at the putting green because I don't want to miss putts. So it's like my biggest thing is missing putts. So that's what I like to do.
I completely understand. I miss a ton of putts myself. So what are your goals for the 2020 season coming up? I know that it's a lot shortened,
Yeah.
but I know that you're going to have at least some sort of goals that you're looking towards accomplishing.
Just I really want to stay consistent this year. I want to put together 2 really good rounds every tournament, and that's not really easy to do. Generally, I'll have one really good round and one kind of so-so round, or one really bad round. So I really just want to be consistent and have good rounds every tournament. My main goal is to get my rating to 920, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do with the amount of time I have, but that's kind of my main goal. Other than that, just kind of playing as much as I can with what's left of the season, or what's going to be left of the season, for who knows when we're going to get started again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear that. What about goals for your career? Do you have any things I know that says that you want to be playing until you're 80 years old, which is going to be phenomenal. What is some of the total career goals that you might have?
I don't really have too many. I don't really think too much about my disc golf career. I just want to play and have fun. Uh, owning a house and having a full-time job makes it hard to travel very often. So I just want to play, have fun, do as many tournaments as I can. Like I said, while I'm still young and able to travel and have the free time that I do have. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't really have any goals. I definitely want to make it to a Worlds. I've never been to an amateur Worlds or a pro Worlds. So that's a big goal of mine, to actually play at Worlds. And I'd also like to place well at Worlds. That would be a huge goal of mine, to actually place top 20 or even top 10 at Worlds. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. I would like to place top 10 in a tournament.
Yeah.
That's my goal sometime in my
That's a good
career.
goal.
So you mentioned that you and your fiance was doing a couple of hobbies, and then all of a sudden you were introduced to disc golf. How did you get introduced to disc golf?
So we actually started kind of differently than other people. We had a PlayStation 3 and we had the Move for it, which are like it's like a Wii for PlayStation. And when you buy that, it comes with like a sports pack, and one of the sports that's in that pack is disc golf. So that's actually how I learned what disc golf is. Puppy. um, so yeah, so we actually got introduced that way, and then one day we're like, let's just try it and see if we like it, and then we are today.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
so since at that point, how did you get introduced into MVP, and specifically Team MVP?
So MVP came pretty early on when I started disc golf. Our local pro at the time, well, and is still at the time, is Jen Sawyer. And she has been on Team MVP since I started. She's been like our big MVP person in the area. And she's local to me. She lives very close to me. We play a lot of the same courses together. So she's what's introduced me to MVP. And actually, that same year that I started, there was a circuit event in one of my local courses, and I thought, I'm going to check it out and see what it's like. And I pretty much had an all MVP bag since then. So I don't really know much about other molds, just because I've pretty much just thrown MVP.
I'm in that same boat. I'll occasionally
Yeah.
be playing with someone and they'll be saying, "Oh, I'm throwing a Thunderbird," and I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah.
that means, but good
I know.
job.
I'm like, I don't know what that does. Cool.
Another question that we had was, you have done on your YouTube channel in 2017 and 2018 in the bag, which for those of you guys that don't know, an in the bag is basically when someone just shows you everything that they're throwing inside of a bag. It's pretty self-explanatory. Do you plan on doing one in 2020, or waiting a little bit later maybe?
I probably will. I didn't do one last year, so I kind of do have plans to do one this year. Hopefully, once I get my camera figured out, I'll be able to do it outside and get more footage of it. So yeah, I definitely plan on one this year, just not sure when, probably, hopefully in the next couple months.
Gotcha. And now does Team MVP actually provide someone for you if you say, "Hey, I want to do an in the bag," that they can say, "Okay, I'm gonna help you, mediaize it or manage it or something along those lines?
They have had new people come onto their media team. They're building their media team. So I think eventually it's going to be like that. And they filmed other people's in the bags. It's just kind of hard for them to get people out to other states or other locations to get them filmed. They try to do them, like if we're all at a big event together, they might film a couple of them or something. So they definitely help a lot with that. But if I want one out soon, then I'll just do it myself. And I don't mind. It's like I have the camera, I have the editing equipment, so I might as well. But they probably would if I asked though.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question is, as a professional disc golfer, what sort of tips or tricks that you might have for the amateur players or the people that are aspiring to be professionals?
My biggest thing is don't give up, even if you feel like you aren't going to make it any further or do anything better. Just keep trying, because I felt like that too. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to throw like those people. There's no way I'm going to be able to putt like those people. And I just worked my butt off, and here I am, and I just can't believe it. But it's just, you have to just keep working hard, and I'm telling you, it pays off. It really does. My other thing is too, that was told to me by Jen. Jen actually is the one that really taught me how to throw, what discs I should be throwing. She's been a big help in my disc golf career. And what she taught me a lot is just throw the discs that you're comfortable with and that fit your arm speed. So a lot of women I see out there, because they play with their boyfriends or husbands or guy friends or whatever, they're going to be throwing their discs that don't necessarily fit their arm speed. And that's fine, and they learn how to throw them. But if you disc down, go down in weight, you will really see a difference in how the discs fly, how much easier they are to throw, how much less work you have to do to get them to do what you want. So that's another thing. Just kind of really pay attention to your disc choice. Don't be afraid to reach out to other people and ask too, like, what disc are you throwing? What weight are you throwing? I think weight's really important. I don't think a lot of people really pay attention to that, but I think it is important to, don't be embarrassed that you're going to be throwing a lightweight driver. That's, a lot of the pros do. They just don't, they don't really talk about it, but it's okay. They fly great, I promise.
That's one of the things that I struggle with too, is that I end up throwing, because I get a lot of my discs through Amazon, and the cheaper ones on Amazon are the 170s to 175s. I tend to throw within that range, and I do have one disc that I think is a 157.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've been throwing the 170 to 175s, I've noticed that when I go to the 157, it's way different for me, and I can't quite figure it out yet. So I need to get some field work in on that one, apparently.
Yeah, it took me, and honestly, like, I was throwing stuff that I shouldn't be throwing. When I started disking down and throwing more manageable discs, I just thought such an improvement in my form and in my game, and the discs were going farther. So I think it's just really important to kind of really focus on that. And like you said too, it is hard, because if you go to like local, like sporting goods stores, a lot of times they have the higher weight discs. So that's what you're buying. And that's what we did too when we first started out. We got the 170 Innova discs that, were dive bombing. We're like, this is how you disc golf. They just dive bomb.
Yes, I'm very well aware of all of the dive bombing discs.
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to dive bomb after 2 feet off of the tee, though.
Probably not.
So what is actually your favorite disc that the MVP produces?
So mine is a wave, a neutron wave. That is my absolute favorite disc. It is great for distance. I personally have a very natural hyzery throw. So kind of my go-to shots are hyzer flips, just because it's just an easy for me to do, because it's just kind of how my form is. And the wave itself is understable. So it'll flip up to flat for me. Sometimes, depending on how hard I throw it, what angle I put it on, I can get it to flip up to flat and just stay straight. Or it'll turn over. It'll kind of just do whatever I want it to do, just kind of depending on the angle, the release, the speed of the release. It's just a great disc, and it will go so far, and I love it so much. And I personally throw mine in between a 161 and a 163. That's a great weight for me. I do carry a little heavier one just for wins, but for the most part, it's the 161 to 163 that I throw.
That's awesome. The next question was, what is your most utility disc, the one that you use most often in almost any situation?
The relay, I use that disc a lot. I use it off the tee. I use it in the fairway. If I'm stuck back in some woods somewhere, usually I won't bring my whole bag with me. And that's like the first disc I'll grab is the relay. Might grab the MV2 just if I want to pitch out, but that disc I can kind of forehand it to get it out of the places. I can kind of just pitch it up over if I need to. It's a great disc. I've actually carried that disc, not that specific relay, but that circuit event that I did that started me in MVP. I think the driver was a relay, and I've had a relay in my bag ever since then. So I really like that disc.
I actually recently picked up a relay as well, and
They're great.
I don't use it as often as I should. I'm sure I should.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing disc.
I tend to take like a servo
Mhm.
and throw it on an anhyzer line,
Yeah.
and then end up getting it to come back over stable. So I'll definitely have to, again, back to field work. I'm gonna have to go out and figure out exactly what it is that I'm gonna need to do with that relay, because
Yeah, I would suggest it. It's a great disc, especially because it's kind of like the wave too. You can do whatever you want with it. You can throw the turnover shots. You can kind of throw the hyzer flip up shots with it. It's just kind of an all around good workhorse of a disc.
awesome. All right, and our next question is, what is your favorite course that you ever played at?
Hands down, Maple Hill. That is an amazing course. There's nothing that I've played that compares to it, and I think probably any professional disc golfer will tell you that it is just an amazing course, and I cannot wait to go back and play it. I'm very jealous of anybody that lives by there that can play it on a regular basis, because that's amazing.
I hear that. Do you have any crazy disc golf stories that you have? Like the viewer had given an example of like a disc that goes off of 10 trees and ends up 4 feet from the basket or something like that.
I honestly can't think of any. I'm sure there have been, but I don't remember anything that I can think of that's real crazy. I'm sure there have been though. Anytime I watch somebody ace, I feel like that's a crazy shot, and I just feel lucky to be witness to that. But other than that, I don't think I've had anything real crazy happen.
Have you thrown an ace at all?
I have two. A lot of the courses around me, there's not a lot of aceable holes. So I had two early on when I first started, but I haven't had any the last couple of years.
Gotcha. I have one, but it was at a par 3 course that you really only should be taking your putter, and I take.
Oh yeah. That's okay. Still counts.
All right, so now we're going to get in some of the non-disc golf related stories, and these are just some fun ones to see, again, to bring Amanda back down to our levels so that we can realize that she is human and not, sent from heaven above. Our first question is, you did mention that you and your fiance did fishing and longboarding. Do you have any other hobbies or passions that you're a part of?
We do. So we we like to try new things and do a lot of new things. So fishing is still a big thing for us. We love to go fishing. Camping, so that's hopefully going to be coming up if the campgrounds ever open up around us. We love to go camping. Our biggest thing that we have now, we bought jet skis last summer, and that is something that we will be doing a ton once we're able to when it gets warm around here finally. That is so fun, and we will do that any day off that we have together. We will be out on those jet skis. We like to take them to Lake Michigan and just rip around. It's so fun. And then now that we've been quarantined a lot, we've been getting kind of back into longboarding, so we've been doing that, and also mountain biking. So yeah, then obviously hanging out with my dog and stuff with her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Next question, what is your favorite food?
Anything Mexican. I love Mexican food. So tacos, quesadillas. I love beans and rice. I could eat Mexican every day.
That's awesome. What did you have for Cinco de Mayo?
I don't think we did anything just because of the quarantine. So I think I ended up cooking at home, but I think we had like taco bowls at home though. I made like just rice and beans.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Our next question is a little bit weird one, so we'll just go along with it. One of our viewers asked, if you were a dragon, what color dragon would you be?
I think I would be purple dragon.
Purple
I
dragon.
don't know why. Purple would be a really cool color to be, like a metallic purple.
Okay. Okay. And is that just because you like purple,
I
or
do. I love purple.
would that be your favorite color?
Pink is actually my favorite color. Pink and
Okay.
purple are my favorite colors. Pink's my all-time favorite, though.
Gotcha. All right. It actually happens to be my son's choice on dragon when I asked him the same question. So
Purple
yes.
or pink? Purple.
Purple.
Yeah. Purple would be a cool color, right?
I think so. He thinks so
I think
too.
pink would.
So
I think pink would look weird, but I think purple would be a really cool color.
I think pink would cause people to have a little bit of a stir because they're like, it's a pink dragon, but it's a dragon. Like, do
Right.
I be fearful of it, or do I cuddle it like a puppy? Like,
Right.
our next question is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. So I actually just recently, for the first time, watched all the Star Wars like over Christmas. So I like it a lot. My friend Erica, she is a big Star Wars fan, so she kind of was like pushing me to do it, and I finally did it, and I'm glad I did.
That's awesome. Well, who's your favorite character?
I really like Han Solo.
Have you seen the Solo movie?
Yeah, we did. We watched that one too.
It's the only one that I'm missing. I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a good one.
The next one would be, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be and why?
This is a weird question.
For this one specifically, I found on a job interview questions.
Really?
And, yes, and apparently your answer to it defines how you are in a leadership position. Now, I don't personally have the answers for that on like.
You're not judging me on this.
Right. No. I just thought it was a cool, interesting question that.
So when I was reading this, I was like, I honestly have no idea. So I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I think I'd be a birch tree. I don't know why, but I just really like birch trees. I don't know if you have birch trees in Florida, but they're like the white trees that kind of the bark will kind of flake off of them. And I just think they're really cool and pretty looking trees. They're interesting. So I think I would like to be a birch tree just because it's an interesting looking tree. And they're very pretty in the fall when they all turn yellow. And
Yeah. I'm originally from upstate New York, so.
Then you know.
I know. Okay, so next question. If you had the choice between two superpowers, either being invisible or flying, which one would you choose and why?
That one is easy for me, invisibility, because I do not like heights, so I don't think I would like flying. I think it's really cool. Like, I think it would be really cool to be able to fly places, but I think I would be too scared. I think I would get like 2 feet off the ground and be like, nope, I'm done. So I would like to be invisible.
I hear that. That one I did look up the answer for and why, like, one over the other.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you choose invisibility, it means that you like to lead from behind the scenes. Whereas if you pick flying, you like to be seen by everyone and want your accomplishments to be known.
I think that's actually pretty accurate. I kind of don't like to put too much out there, so I would agree with that.
Yeah. If you were to compare yourself to any animal, which would it be and why?
Oh, I didn't see that question. I didn't have time to think. Oh no.
We can go back to it if you want.
Yeah, let's go back.
Okay. What were you like in high school?
I was pretty shy and quiet and kept to myself. I didn't have a ton of friends. I had like a group of friends that I hung out with, mainly just a couple people, but I really wasn't that outgoing. So yeah, I did horseback riding, so that was kind of like a big thing for me. I had a horse growing up, and he was kind of like my best friend, so him and I hung out a lot.
Is that something that we might be able to see on a future signature disc?
That would be really cool. Honestly, I've never even thought of that, but that would be amazing. He was a big part of my life, and putting him on a disc is actually a really amazing idea. I like that a lot.
Awesome. I will take credit for it beneath.
Yeah. I'll credit
you. Next question is, if you were a new addition to the Cran box, what color would you be and why?
I think it would have to be some kind of purple, sparkly color. That is, I feel like even though I'm pretty calm in demeanor, I feel like that's like my personality. Like I love color, I love sparkle, I love shiny things. So I think it would have to be like a purple, like holographic glitter, just bright in your face Crayon.
Okay, okay. Now, if you were working for Crayola and you saw that color, what would you call it?
I would probably call it fantastical purple.
Fantastical purple. I like it. All right, so I gave you a little bit of time to think about the animal one.
I'm gonna say a horse. I think I would be a horse
Okay.
because I am a loyal person and horses are very loyal. And yeah, I don't really know why, but I think I would be a horse. I think I'd want to be a horse.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, that was all the questions that we have. Do you have any
Great.
final thoughts or takeaways or shout outs to any other sponsors than Team
Um,
MVP as well?
yeah, obviously, thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see it when it comes out. And big, huge shout out to MVP, obviously, because they're amazing. And I'm so thankful to be a part of the team for another year. And I can't wait. Charlie, come here. Hey, bring me that flower.
Charlie's upset that he's not going to be on the next disc.
Yeah. Sorry, it's gonna be Boo. Anyway, so yeah, I just shout out to MVP for being amazing and
All right. Do you have any other sponsors as well other than Team MVP?
oh yes, thank you. Sorry. This year's so weird. So my other sponsor is Disc Golf Over Everything. I think you can find them. Most of their stuff is labeled PDGA. But yeah, they're a great apparel brand and they had some awesome stuff. So Disc Golf Over Everything and MVP, those are the only two that I have at the moment.
All right. Well, we will also leave a link in the description below for that one as well.
Yeah.
And that's all that we have. I thank you so much, Amanda, for meeting with me and being my first interview. And
Yeah.
we'll like to do this for many, many, many more of the Team MVP players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you.
it. And thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned and keep on watch for more of these interviews. Thank you very much.